Whether you are brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprasthi or sannyasi, a surrendered mind will flow effortlessly. No obstructions. But the one who is not surrendered, whose mind has not been merged into that Shanta Atmani, he will suffer. So first level is okay, from individual thinking, make it a collective samashti thinking, that is Mahati Atmani. And from that, take your mind all the way and make it no mind, amanastam. No mind. It means there is no thinking on your part. It should flow effortlessly. It should move effortlessly. Your life should go on effortlessly. Then you are truly a ati ashramin. So this is the idea of mrutyoha samrutyum gacchati ya iha nanayava pashyati. Simply suffers without a reason. That person who doesn't understand this truth suffers without a reason. That I have story of this lion. A lion in the jungle, very lazy old lion, doesn't do any work, wants everything to come to him. That is why I say, Shudras are who? They want to do little work and get lot of reward for that. Shudra buddhi. Shudra. That means very limited, very silly, very petty buddhi. That's what I can say. What is those people do? So like this lion was sitting at home and saying, I want to be fed nicely. So he told, every day one animal has to come and surrender to me and I will eat that animal. Otherwise I will go and kill more animal than what I need. Then you people will suffer. So you people decide amongst yourself. So everybody got together and says, this is the best way. All those who were fools, they said, okay, we will go and surrender to lion. So these all started going one by one to this lion. And what does the lion do? This one particular rabbit was very clever. When his turn came, he thought to himself, this way if we do, our whole forest will get over. And this fellow doesn't even move an inch from his place. What shall I do? So he thought a plan and simply waited behind a tree and finally reached the lion's den very late. So lion asked, where were you? Why did you come late? My lunch time already. He said, I was coming. I started on time and I wanted to reach before your lunch time. But on the way I saw one more lion was there. That fellow told, where are you going? I said, I am going to my lion king to get eaten up. But he said, no, I am the king of this jungle. Who is this other lion you are talking about? I said, no, we have only one king. That king is in the den there. No, I am the king, he said. So this lion got agitated. Who is this another lion who is telling he is the king? Where is he? Let me go and see. He said, come, I will show you. You kill him, otherwise he will also start eating us. All right, then both of them proceeded. He took him to a well. And in the well, what he did? He said, the lion is living inside this well. Really? And this big lion, the old lion, went and peeped into the well. And he saw his own reflection. And then he roared. And in well, the roar will be even more because of the echo. And the roar came back 10 times louder. This fellow thought, this fellow is really a lion is there inside this. And then I will kill you. And that thing came back, I will kill you. I am better. I am better. I am stronger. I am stronger. I am the king. I am the king. Wait, and he jumped inside. These primary nursery stories, these are. So he jumped in and did what? Mrityu sa mrityum apnoti. That is what he achieved. Why? Because he thought there is another lion in the water there. And he died. So that is the idea. The one who does not realize the truth in this birth, that everything is him, comes to a terrible end. Now we will take up the next shloka, the 12th shloka. It's a very important shloka and very significant also. It says, Angushta matraha purusho madhya atmani tishtati ishano bhuta bhavyasya na tato vijugupsate etadvaitat. So we are back to that etadvaitat definitions. In between a small deviation and then we are back into the same track. So you can easily see that this composition is very different from the previous chapter composition. Must have been an addendum to the previous Upanishad, KATHOPANISHADs, the main chapters. All right. Nevertheless, wisdom is wisdom wherever it comes from. That's why Kabir Das ji says, Jati na pucho sadhu ki, puch lijiye gyan. Don't worry about what is the caste of this sage. Find out whatever the wisdom he has. Wherever it comes from, I'm okay, as long as it is wisdom. So that is why wherever wisdom is coming from. Now here in this shloka, in this verse, Angushta matraha purusho madhya atmani tishtati. The Purusha, who is Purusha? The very Brahman. Pura means a place. Shaha means the one who is staying inside, in there. So because Brahman is everywhere, it's called the Purusha. It's not to do with male and female. So, Angushta Matra Purusho. How is this Purusha? He is the size of a thumb, Angushta. Size of a thumb, it seems. And where does he live? Madhya Atmani Tishtati. In the center of one's heart, this thumb-sized Purusha lives. And that's quite a strange thought, isn't it? Because Brahman, we said everywhere. Asino, Ruram, Rajati, Shayano, Jati, Sarvataha. We all read all these things. It stays here, yet goes there. Tadvanviha, Yadamutra, Tadanviha. All these things we have read, which is here, is there, everywhere. Now, what is this new idea? That the one thumb-sized Brahman lives in the center of our selves. Atmani Tishtati means in the self, it remains in the center. And what is he? He is the Ishano, he is the Lord, he is the ultimate controller, ruler of what? Of Bhuta and Bhavya, of the past and the future. As I explained yesterday, what is there in the past cannot be there in the present. What is there in the present does not happen in the future. But one thing that continues everywhere, it means what? It is more powerful than the time. Kalaya namaha, Kalakalaya namaha, Kalatitaya namaha, Mahakalaya namaha. That is what Brahman is called by. That he transcends the time because he can choose to be in the past and present and the future, and even when all the time has ended, he still continues. That is the idea of Brahman. So he is the Lord of all past, present and future. The one who knows this, na tato vijugupsate, he does not have to hide the bread under the blanket. The one who knows this. The Brahman that I am has nothing less, has everything in his control, and everything will come to me at the right time, will be provided. So I don't have to worry and fear. So let us read the first line and try to understand what does that mean. Angushta matra purusho madhya atmani tishtati. Now this is the idea that Brahman, like we remember we told, sun is shining in the sky, but also reflects in the pot of water. So when that same sun is reflecting in the pot of water, we call it as Jivatman. Pot is the body, water is the mind, and this reflection is the Jivatman, whose original source is where? Sun, which is only one without the second. But in every pot he reflects and appears as if he is there in every pot. But truth is that he is the one high above. So that is the Jivatma concept. We had already learnt it. Second thing what we learnt is what? Vritam pibantau sukrutasya loke, to enjoy everything within us, not one. And then we explain one is the Jivatma, other is Paramatma, which is nothing but the same. Like the lower bird goes and finds out it is the same as the upper bird, it is only imagination that it is different. And what else we read? A few stanzas before, verses before we read, Ya imam madvadam jiva, the one who knows this jiva, who is the enjoyer of everything. But how should one know? Antikad, closely one who comes to know about it, comes to know that it is Brahman only. It looks like something else, but it is Brahman only. So that Brahman, in the physical world, in the jagrata, in the jagat, how and where is he seated? Like, whole of the country is governed by the central government. But where is the government seated? Where is the seat of that power? In Delhi. Like that, somewhere in the whole of the India, which is governed completely by the same central government, that government sits in Delhi. Like that, in an individual, a similar imagination, where is this Brahman seated? And what is the size and shape and properties of this Brahman when he is seated in the individual body? Now, for this, we'll have to go back to Narayana Suktam. In the Narayana Suktam, it starts with Sahasra Shirsham Devam, he has got thousands of head, and Vishwaksham, his eyes are in everywhere, and Vishwashambhuvam, he does good to the entire world, and things like that. Paramam Padam and all this. So I will skip all that and go where? I will go to this part where it says, Padma Kosha Pratikashagum Hridayam Cha Apyadho Mukham Adho Nishtya Vitasyante Nabhyam Uparitishtati. Now what does it mean? Padma Kosha Pratika Asham or Hridayam Cha Apyadho Mukham is like a Padma. Padma means lotus flower. In the Hridaya Kasha, that space in the center, Hridaya means not the lubdub heart. Not that heart which is stolen away every now and then by somebody and broken away by somebody else. That which is the space somewhere here. Because whenever we say, where are you? I am. How do you say I? We put our hand on our chest. Somehow it is natural to put. We don't put I am here. I am here. We don't say like that. We always say I am here. Somehow we know instinctively that something special about this place. And what is this place? Hridaya Akasha, they call it. The space within the central area, the heart area. Not the heart means physical heart. Hridaya means a central area. Like the heart of the city, we say. Is it really a heart which is going, pumping blood? No. Heart of the city is only a speech, a way to say thing that is the score, that is the most important area and the center of the city. Like that, in the Hridaya Akasha, the center of this being that we are, what is there? A lotus is there, Padma, lotus. And how is it? Adhomukham. It is inverted lotus. It's not like this. It is inverted lotus. Somewhere in this area it is said. We will understand this one by one. And what is that? Where is this? Adho Nishtya, below the Adam's apple. And where? Vitasyante nabhyam uparitishtati. One span above the navel. Nabhi, with one span if you take one span from Nabhi to here and take one span from your Adam's apple down, somewhere here is where this space is, where this lotus-like some space is there. It is the shape of an inverted lotus, is how it has been mentioned. And what else is there happening in that space? What is happening in that Hridaya Kasha? Jwala Mala Kulam Bhati, a very bright, effulgent space it is. It is not a dark and dull and dungeon-like space. It is shiny and bright. Jwala is Ujjvala, means very bright space. Mala Kulam Bhati, as if it is garlanded by flames, jwalas. That kind of very bright says Bhati, shines. Vishwasyayatanam Bhata. And how? It shines greater than the whole universe. Vishwasayatanam. Vishwa means everywhere it shines. Though it is shining from here, think of it as a huge strong bulb that everything else is shining in its light. That much shine. Now you should understand, is there really a bulb inside that? Is there really? No. Shining means what? Illumination. Illumination means what? In light only we get to know what is what. If light is switched off and we are in a dark room, we don't get to know. So consciousness is called as illumination. We say that consciousness means that awareness within makes us understand everything else. Just like the presence of light in a room makes us understand the objects that are present in the room. Likewise, this shines so bright means its awareness power, its consciousness power is so. His IQ level is somewhere. That's what it means. That one is here which is shining. And what happens? Santatam shilabistu lambatya kosha sannibham. There are many koshas. Kosha means these arteries like thing. So in our thing it's called nadis. Because this is not a physical body we are talking. This is a space. It's a subtle space. In that space, a lot of nadis emerge from this and go to all directions in the body. As if light emerges and rays go in all directions, sun's rays go in which direction? All directions. Like that, from this space, many shining rays are going out everywhere in all directions. And then what is happening? Tasyante sushiragum sukshmam tasmin sarvam pratishtitam. So tasyante, in that space which is so bright like a lotus, inverted lotus, and it is shining so brightly that rays are going in all directions. Very aware and very illumined space. What is there in that space? There is still a smaller, ante means within that. What is there? Sushiragum sukshmam, an invisible, sukshma means very subtle thing is there. What is there? That which is everywhere. Tasmin sarvam pratishtitam. That which is hiding in that space is present everywhere, it says. Apparently it's paradoxical, but it is a poetic way of explaining. Poetry it is. What is it saying? In that bright space within your heart area, within the central area of the chest, there is an inverted shaped lotus-like space which is very bright. And from there rays are going out in all directions. Within that space, subtler than the subtlest, there is something. What is there? Tasya madhye mahanagnir vishwachir vishvatomukha. Very shiny fire is there. Like fire, like pointed, very small fire. That is the source of all this light. Like example, if you put a bulb, you see an aura of light around it. But who is the reason? The filament is the reason for it. So think of it like a space, a bright space. Within that, there is a filament, which is shining even brighter. That is the source of all this light that you are experiencing. And what is it saying? Mahanagni. Great fire it is. Great power is there in that. And Vishwachi, Vishvatomukha is like its flames are in all directions. and its face is in all directions. So like sun's light go out in all directions from this one filament. Now filament means you will think it has some origin and electricity. No, it is self-sufficient. Self-illumining fire is there, which burns on its own. Like sun is not connected by electricity, it burns on its own. Like that, this thing burns on its own. And in all direction it burns. It sheds its light in all directions. And then it says further, so agra bhugvi bhajantishtan nahara majara kavihi. This is a very intelligent one, this fire. And how intelligent it is? It is the first to experience and enjoy everything. Agre, bhug, vibhajat. Everything that is offered to the body and mind through Indriya's experiences, who is actually enjoying it? This one is enjoying it. This subtle fire like bright thing within you. It is enjoying everything. Ahara, it enjoys, and ajara, it only digests and assimilates everything. If this is not there, the body cannot eat, digest, see, hear, taste, smell, touch. None of this, like the electricity. Pull the plug, all the gadgets will come to a stop. So this space is so powerful. It's like the energy center. It's like the generator within, dynamo, from where all the power comes, and therefore eyes, ears, nose, everything is working. And when we die, this one leaves. Therefore, there is no energy left. So it says that one enjoys everything. And what? Tirya gurdha madashai rashmayastasya santata. This one is hidden inside which sleeps. Shai means it sleeps. Means it is not active as if working. As it sleeps only, it does everything. See, the paradox is that it doesn't have to engage itself in any action. Oh, it enjoys the food means it eats the food. Where is its mouth? Where is the stomach? No mouth and stomach. It's like the energy. Electricity is in a sleeping state only. The light is awakened. The electricity is not doing any work. It is just being there. It is simply flowing. Everything else, when connected to electricity, start acting. The fan starts moving. But electricity is not running around. Just because fan is turning round, is the electricity turning round? It is just being, it is. Just because the light is shining, is the electricity shining? No. So it's like that. Though on that deep cave somewhere, happily it's resting, not working. Yet everything is happening because of it. See the idea of this poetry. And it lies there. And Rashmi means it's full of photons, like bright light particles. It's composed of what? It's only composed of light and nothing else. So it is present in all that. And ajaraha it is, cannot be destroyed. So these are some of those description of that light space. One more shloka which further goes is Santapayati swam deha mapadtal mastaka. This one illumines everything from the head till the toe. Completely. And sama tapa means equally it illuminates. It doesn't say, that is an excretory organ, I will not illuminate. That is my toe, I don't like it, I won't illuminate. It has no such problems. It fully, completely energizes the entire body from the top to the toe. And equally, without any discrimination or partiality. It gives its energy and light to everything, it says. Deham apada tala mastaka. The whole body from pada and mastaka. Everything. Tasya madhye. And now within this fire also there is something. Look at this interesting. First you had a lotus shaped space. Within that there is a fire-like thing, very subtle, like a filament. In that there are so much of light particles and is so bright, it's the one which heats up the whole body. And then within that, tasya madhye vahni shika, like a grain, size of a small grain, there is this further shining thing, which is the core of the core, it seems. Aniyordhva vyavastitaha. Aniya, it's so small, like atomic. And it is vyavastita, it is seated there. So within the lotus-shaped light area, first within our heart area or the central area, a lotus-shaped light area. In that lotus-shaped light area, very bright light like a small center filament light. In that Agni, there is a small thing, Aniyordhva, like very, very, very small, like some kind of an atomic shape. That one is there, which is the true source of everything. And then what is happening? How is it? Nilato yada madhyastha vidyullekeva bhasvara. Like in between dark clouds, suddenly a flashing of light happens. That powerful it is. In a dark night you see, when suddenly a lightning flashes, everything looks like day, at least for that fraction of a second. How much power in that lightning, almost equivalent to sun. It makes everything look so real and bright. So that much power it has. It is way of explaining. And Nivara Shuka Vattanvi Pita Bha Swatyanupama. And what is its color? Yellow color it seems. And it is Nivaratuka, like wild rice is grain, very thin, not even grain, the tip of that grain. Take a rice and take the tip of that rice, how small it is. That tip of the rice sized power is this. And it is yellow in color because naturally it's Hiranyagarbha, the golden color. So yellow in color it has been described. And it shines and dazzles. So think of the description. In the space of central area, there is this bright lotus, inverted lotus shape. In that bright shape, there is an Agni. In that Agni, there is something even brighter, which is like the tip of the rice grain, not even a rice grain, the tip of the rice grain, it says. In that right tip of the rice grain is the great effulgent power, which brightens up everything. And tasyaya shikhaya madhye, in the center of that tip of the grain size light, Paramatma vyavastitaha, Paramatma is staying, is said. So Angushta Matro is also not true. Now from Angushta we have gone down to the tip of the grain. In that center stays Paramatma, is Anoraniyan, that concept. Subtler than the subtlest that Paramatma is. And he only Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sa Hari, Sendra, Sokshara, Paramat Swarat. He alone is Brahma, Shiva and Hari and Vishnu, whichever name you call him by. Though it is Narayan Suktam, he has no problem calling him as Shiva and Brahma. So this is the description of the presence of Brahman within one's own self, that how within ourselves, where is the Brahman seated? Like where is the government seated in Delhi? In Delhi, the most powerful person is the Prime Minister. Where is he seated? In his office. So think like that. There is a whole of this country called the body, then Delhi is the Hridaya Kasha. In Delhi there is this parliament. In the parliament there is a Prime Minister's office. In the Prime Minister's office there is a Prime Minister's cabin. In the cabin there is a table and a chair. In that chair sits the Prime Minister. That is how Brahman is seated within our heart. The space of the heart, which is like a lotus. In the lotus there is one further space, which is the fire of a shape of whatever the grain. In that grain shape, there is one tip of the grain, which is the original source of all the energy and fire. In the center of the tip stays Parabrahman, Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. At the same time, he shines all around, everywhere. So that is the description how these people have found out through meditation. Of course, they didn't open the heart. Even if you open the heart, you will not find this grain and all that. In the subtle, see, we are not just Annamaya Kosha. We are a Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. And beyond that, we are actually. The truth is, we are even beyond that. So that Parabrahman has been described in Narayana Suktam like this. A similar example has been given over here, that how that Parabrahman is seated in the central area, and that is why we put our hand there every time we tell who we are. Here we are, we put. So this particular Parabrahman concept has been explained here also. And so I'll take the next one. So once you realize that God is within you in the form of that Parabrahman, he resides within you and also outside you, because Narayana Suktam also says very clearly, Antar Bahishti Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Sitaha. Inside, outside and everywhere, the same Narayana is there. But same Narayana is called Sa Brahma, Sa Shiva, Sa Hari, Sendra, Soksha, Paramaswarata. That particular tip of the grain in which Parabrahman is seated, that same thing is outside also. It is not different from that. So if you see it differently, then you know that you are going to go to death and then another death after death. So now the next shloka also is in similar tone, 13th shloka. Angushta matraha purusho jyotir iva adhumakaha ishano bhuta bhavyasya sa eva adya sa ushvaha etadvai tat. So this one is that. What is Angushta Matra? Just now we explained. So he has taken as Angushta as the example. We are taking the lotus as the example. Idea is just the same, that that's where somewhere the Brahman's seat of power is, from where he energizes the entire body and all its functioning. So Angushta Matra Purusha, it is like a bright light we said just now. It is very, very bright, yellow colored, golden colored rather. Jyotihi is like a Jyoti. Light. That is why Jyoti meditation. If you see the light outside, then you imagine the light in your own heart. We keep saying that. And people do that Jyoti meditation. 4 of them sat down for a Jyoti meditation. And the whole night we will meditate today on this Jyoti. All right. Then what happened? Wind came and blew off the candle. And whole night they are not supposed to talk. Maunavratam. So the first fellow, oh, the candle is blown off. What shall we do now? The second fellow, how will we meditate now? Shall we get another candle like that? That fellow, why are you people talking? We are not supposed to talk. The fourth fellow, I am the only one not talking over here. Jyoti meditation is only that. All the time worried, if the Jyoti goes away, then what will happen? That's why I said, don't worry about all these meditations. You remember the truth, you are Brahman, that is enough. You keep telling the truth to yourself till your mind fully gets convinced and believes that it is true. Keep telling itself. So this is what Angushta Matra Purusha is. Jyoti Iva, like a Jyoti it is. What kind of Jyoti? If Jyoti flame is there, then smoke should come. There is no smoke to this flame. Smoke comes when? Combustion. Combustion means fuel. If fuel is there only, combustion happens, and when you don't have enough oxygen, then carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, everything starts. And that is what is fume. So this doesn't have any dhumak, means it doesn't have any smoke. Why? Because it doesn't have any fuel. It doesn't need any oxygen. It doesn't need any support from outside to burn. It burns on its own. It's self-luminous, swarata. That is the idea. That is, Brahman is self-sufficient. His energy, his knowledge, intelligence is self-sufficient. It doesn't need any other self. Imagine such a thing is there within you. And you are thinking of yourself like this animal, ahara nidra bhayam maituna. What a pity. What a pity. This is how one has to tell oneself. This Param Brahma is inside me and I am thinking of myself as some lowly creature. That is why Ashtavakra says, Ma gama shudra chittatam, he advises. Don't think of yourself in a lowly way, in an animalistic way. Even as a human, you are thinking lowly of yourself. You are verily divine. Jiva Brahmaiva naparaha. You are divine. You are not less than that or different than that. So powerful. Just imagine this. And who is he? Ishano. He is the Lord of the universe. Bhuta bhavyasya, of the past and the future, and also of the present. Sa eva, he alone is adya today. Sa u shvaha, he alone will be there tomorrow. Whether body will be there today and tomorrow, we don't know. Whether our relationships will be there, we don't know. Whether our wealth and progeny will be there, we don't know. Whether our mind will be sane or insane tomorrow, we don't know. But one thing we know for sure is that Parabrahman who is there today will also be there tomorrow with us. He alone will be with us when everything else leaves us. He alone remains. Our people, how much ever they love us, they can only go till the grave. After that they will dump us and walk back. Who is going to go beyond that? Nobody. But this one alone. Because this is what we are. We can discard anything, everything. But can we discard our own selves? Not possible. This is our true self. This Parabrahman seated inside us is the true self. Everything else is the container in which it is. That is what we have to remember and not forget this even for a moment. Because the moment we forget this, we think of ourselves as very petty, lowly creatures, running behind senses and sense objects, and our pleasures become only carnal and lowly. And that joy and ananda of realizing who you truly are is not there. Then all the time, fearing of things, fearing of the future, guilt of the past, and burden of the present. This is our life. Carry the guilts of the past and fear of the future, and the present is a big burden to carry on. Though we are so glorious, but we have forgotten. And we have become so poor. So this one who knows that presence of that ultimate consciousness within knows that. The one who knows this knows that. 14th shloka. Yatha udakam durge vrishtam parvateshu vidhavati evam dharman prathak pashyam tan eva anuvidhavati. So idea is yathodakam durge vrishtam. Like the water or rain falls. Udaka means water. When water falls or rains on top of a durga. Durga means hill, top of a mountain. The rain is vrishtam, falling. Water is falling as a rain on top of the hill. Parvateshu, on the top of the hill, on the peak. Summit is Durga and Parvateshu, the hill. The summit of the hill, when the rain falls, what happens? It flows, vidhavati. It runs in all directions. And then what happens? We think of the same rain as different streams. Somebody who is living in the eastern side of the hill will receive the water through an eastern stream. Somebody who is sitting on the western side of the hill will get a western stream and southern stream. So think of it like a pyramid. On top of it, if water falls, it will flow in all directions from there. Same water divides itself into many streams. And by chance, if there is a dirty pool there, that water will reach that dirty pool and become dirty. And the same water will flows into a small river which goes further, and it will become a nice river. People will pray and take bath. The same water reaches a slushy and a marshy area, it will become a slush. Same water. But when it fell from the sky, it was pure and same, one only, without the second. But the moment it touched the summit of the mountain, it got split into many streams. And each stream had their own fate and their own way. Likewise, evam dharman prathak pashyan, the one who sees this dharma here does not mean religion. Dharma means the very purpose of life. That purpose, that very knowledge, which is the true knowledge, the one who sees is prathak, different. This is different, that is different, this is different, that is different. Pashyan tan eva anuvidhavati. In the same way as the water runs in different directions from the same hill, such a person who sees the same dharma, atma dharma, as different things, that person also runs like this in different ways. You understand, based on his own perception of this dharma, that person's life is accordingly led. So somebody who is a pure mind, he will see the oneness and he has no problem. In the Chandala, in the Brahmana, in the Kshatriya, in the Vaishya, everybody is the same Brahman. He has no problem. It seems Adi Shankaracharya went to Kashi, and as he was walking with his disciple, a Chandala appeared in front of him. Because there they burn the bodies, you see. So this man is somebody who is burning the bodies, dead bodies. So he was standing in front. So Shankaracharya is coming with his 4 disciples or 5 disciples, and everybody, move, make the way. Like that. These people ran and told, move. And this Chandala says, who move? What should move? Then he said, Shankaracharya is coming, you should move. So he said, I am not going to move anywhere, I am standing here. So Shankaracharya got very kind of upset. He said, now people will start asking, if Shankaracharya was Brahmagyani, why did he get upset? So he said, this is all stories to drive home a point. So he told, please move from the way. Because it is written that when Brahman comes, Brahmin means the knower, the knowledgeable person comes, everybody should move and give way. Because that is the respect in society that you have to give. When nobody else, how beautifully Ashtavakra defines in Mahabharata is there. There the mention of Ashtavakra comes under Tirtha Parva and Tirthyatra Parva in Vana Parva. And there he describes very nicely that who should be given the right of way. There is a category. If Brahmin is coming, he gets the first right of way. Otherwise, pregnant woman gets like this. Somebody who is carrying burden on his head, he should get right of way. So like that there is a hierarchy. See, so much of intelligence in our daily conduct. So in that process, the right of way should be given to the Brahmin first. Therefore, Shankaracharya's disciple said, you are a Chandala, you move, Shankaracharya should go on. And the Chandala says, who should move? This body, Deha, or the Atman? If you tell Deha should move, that I am not. If Atman should move, it is everywhere. Who should move? He says. And then Shankaracharya understood this fellow is Brahmagyani. And that was Shiva himself. It seems he came to break this understanding because Shankaracharya was still thinking that he is a Brahmin, the better class. So Shiva came to break that myth and teach him this truth, that there is nothing called Brahman and Kshatriya and Shudra and Vaishya. In everything, Atman alone is. Therefore, give up these differences. So that is the idea. So, but what happens? We see the external bodies and what are the professions they are engaged in and what is their demeanor and disposition. And accordingly, we think they are all different. And we behave with everything in a different way. Including with our own selves, we behave differently. See, how should we behave? In a divine way, because that is what we are. But then we think we are the body and the mind which is studying in this class and doing this work. So accordingly, we start behaving. And we start behaving with everybody else according to whatever we perceive of them. Though the rain which fell on the mountain was one and the same, because it split into several streams, now it appears to have taken different ways. Similarly, this dharman, prathak pashyan, the one who sees this everybody's Atman but he doesn't understand and sees everybody as bodies and mind, it's like the splitting of the rainwater into many streams. And then the fight begins. My stream, I am Ganga is better than Yamuna, is better than Saraswati, is better than Godavari and Kaveri, and the fights begin. Without realizing that we all came from the same source, We are the same thing. We are all made of the same water. All rivers are made of water only. Everything is H2O in this. Nothing else. And when it goes back to the ocean also, it will be H2O only. And will come back again as vapors and condense as clouds and fall back on top of the mountains. It will be H2O only. But in between it's called Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Godavari, whatever names you give them. That is where fights begin. That is where the differences come. So it is as foolish to see differences in the world as thinking, no, this stream is of different water, that stream is of different water. This is how we have got caught into this Dvaita Bhava. So that is why it is said, thus one whose mind has merged in God, Dvaitam na upalabhyate. For him duality is not possible to see duality. Who is the other, he'll ask. Do you see the other? Who is the other here? There is no other. I alone am in everything and everyone. Who is the other? So that idea completes now in the last shloka of this KATHOPANISHADs, this Valli. It says, Yathodakam shuddhe shuddhamasiktam tadrugeva bhavati evam muner vijanata atma bhavati gautama. Yatha, again, as udakam, water which is shuddha, which is pure, without any dirt. Suppose the rainwater falls in a charandi, it becomes dirty water. And then it falls in a slushy tank, it becomes slush. It falls in a pure Ganga, it becomes Ganga. But original water is pure before it touches the surface. So that water which has not yet touched the surface of differences, that water is pure. If that pure water is mixed in pure water, in this cup also I have same pure water, in that cup also I have same pure water. If I mix both, what happens? Both become alike. Tadrugeva bhavati. This water becomes like that water. There is no difference. Can you separate? This water came from this tumbler and that water came from that tumbler. You cannot. See, when we do Shiva Abhishekam during Rudra Abhishekas, they get water from all rivers. And they place the kalashas and do Kalasha Puja. At the end of it, when you pour all the water on Shiva, can you make out which water came from which river? No, we should test in a lab and find out. That is external testing. This has such minerals and that is little salt is more. But truth is what all are H2O. If you go deeply and forget H2O, break them further, then hydrogen and oxygen, break them further, electrons and protons, break them further, space. That's all it is at the end. So where is the difference in the world? The one who sees the difference is fool. So Shuddham Asiktam Tadrugeva Bhavati, it becomes the same. Evam Muner Vijanitas. Likewise the Muni, the knower of this truth, Vijanata, once he knows this, Atma Bhavati, he becomes the Atman. Brahmaved, Brahmaiva Bhavati. The one who realizes Brahman becomes Brahman because his mind is pure. It has not mixed up with the dirt and the slush and the garbage of the world. He is the pure water of the rain which is coming. So there is no problem with that. That water, if it mixes in pure water, it will remain pure only. When it engages with the mind and senses, that Brahma Tattva, when engages in the mind and senses, then the differences arrive. Like the beautiful colorless light of the sun passes through colored glass, appears to be colored. In the same way, that Vishuddha Atma that you truly are, Chaitanya Shakti that you truly are, Angushta Matra, whichever, that one, when it engages with the body, mind, all these dharmas emerge. That's why Krishna says what? Sarva dharman parityajya, mamekam sharanam vraja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mashucha. What he says? Sarva dharman parityajya. Now people say, so should we resign tomorrow? Should we stop studying? That is not the idea. The idea of dharma is that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am this, I am that, this is my duty, that is my responsibility. All these things which we have taken upon our body and mind, thinking we are the body and mind, those dharmas you give up, he says. That sense of doership, that sense of ownership, the sense of enjoyership, give up. And come to me. And realize, come to me means where? Where is Krishna? Where to go? Mathura? Vrindavan? No. That Krishna is consciousness. Forget these outer differences. Who is what are you doing, what you are not doing. Forget these outer differences. Come to me who is within. Mamekam. Ekam mayam. Sharanam vraja. Yached. Jnana Atmani into Mahati Atmani into Shanta Atmani. That is what he is saying. At Jnana Atmani level, individual dharmas are there. I am a son, I am a husband, I am a father, I am a teacher, I am a... Then Mahati Atmani, Samaj Dharma is there, collective Dharma. Oh, I have to behave like this in the society, I have to do like that for everyone's welfare. And when you go to Shantatmani, no dharma remains. This is what is Sarvadharman Parityajya. The one who realizes this, Atma Bhavati, he becomes one with the self, Gautama. You ask, who is this Gautama now? Is there a third character over here? Gautama is a way to address a wise person. It is not the Gautama Rishi, Ahilya's husband. It is not about the lineage of Nachiketa, because he is coming from Uddaluki, Aruni, and that lineage. Idea of Gautama is that if you take it as a common noun, as an adjective, Gautama means that who has illumined the darkness. Tama means darkness. Go means that which illumines. Like go chara. Chara means whichever is moving around. Go which illumines them. The perception. So the one who perceives the light in this darkness is Gautama. So if anyone perceives this brightness, this light within the dark, that one perceives the oneness within the diversity. And such a person becomes one with that ultimate divine self. For that person, there is no male, female, young, old, rich, poor, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and teacher and student, and this and that. All these differences are external. These are like the part drama in the play, Play, they give you some role to perform. If you perform that role, for that extent only, that role is there. After that, you are no more that role. Similarly, you are Brahman performing the role of the Jivatma, using the costume of the body and the dialogues of the mind. There ends the matter. And who is the other person? He is also Brahman. She is also Brahman. But her role is something else. So they put on the costume of the body differently, and the dialogues are coming from the mind, that is differently. The behavior is accordingly. But ultimately, it's the same Brahman. The one who sees through these differences becomes the Atma Bhavati. They become one with the truth. Iti Kathakopanishadi Dvitiyadhyaye Prathama Valli. This is the second chapter's first Valli ending.